You probably already know about the value of creatine in athletes, including bodybuilders. Creatine is the most effective nutritional supplement for athletes, as clinical trials have found a 10 to 20% improvement in performance on various high-intensity exercise tasks. But that's just one of the ways in which creatine can be helpful. And in this video, we're going to go beyond that to answer a lot of the frequently asked questions. Creatine supplements are available as creatine monohydrate and many other forms. By far, evidence-based research clearly shows that creatine monohydrate is the optimal choice, and as such, the remainder of this video is only going to discuss creatine monohydrate. As you take a creatine supplement, it's going to be absorbed from the gastrointestinal tract. About 95% of it is going to be transported to the skeletal muscle, and the remaining 5% is going to be found in bone, the heart, and the brain. So how does creatine work in muscle? Simplistically, we use a molecule in our body called ATP, adenosine triphosphate, as our energy currency. And when we use that ATP for energy, basically it becomes depleted. And that is where creatine comes into play. Because creatine in our muscles gives up a phosphate group and rejuvenates our energy currency. So when we have a lot of creatine in our body, the very first thing that happens is that we have more energy to pump out those last couple of reps when we're working out, or the last couple of minutes of a sprint. But another thing that happens, another really important role of creatine, is that it decreases protein breakdown. And that's the mechanism that comes into play when we're trying to prevent muscle loss, when we're on a strict weight loss diet, for instance, and also as we're getting older. So creatine is not an anabolic steroid. It has a chemical structure completely different from steroids. But if your goal is muscle growth, you can combine creatine with collagen peptides, which directly stimulate protein synthesis in general, as well as whey protein powder, which contains a large amount of the amino acid leucine in it to directly stimulate muscle growth. And that combination will provide a very strong metabolic effect without increasing the risk of heart disease, cancer, or hair loss, like anabolic steroids do. Although creatine is presently mainly used by male athletes, it appears to be safe and beneficial in adolescents, women, and older adults. There's a wide range of potential benefits that can be gained from creatine supplementation, aside from its ability to increase strength and muscle mass, as it may help manage blood lipid levels, reduce the accumulation of fat on the liver, decrease homocysteine, thereby reducing the risk of heart disease, enhance glycemic control, and improve functional capacity in osteoarthritic and fibromyalgia patients. Furthermore, additional studies are needed to say for sure, but creatine may even reduce the progress of some forms of cancer, minimize bone loss, and enhance cognitive function, particularly in older populations. Creatine supplementation in older adults seems especially important, as it appears to slow down or even halt the decrease in muscle mass often experienced as one ages, especially if creatine is combined with a resistance training protocol. In people who are on caloric restrictions to decrease overall weight, creatine can help preserve muscle mass. And in vegetarians and vegans, it is especially beneficial, as that cohort generally has about 30% less creatine in their muscles. We can get creatine from our food, mainly in meat and fish, but it would take about 1 kilo or roughly 2 pounds of meat in order to achieve the 5 grams that is often recommended as a daily dose of creatine. Furthermore, our liver and kidneys can make our own endogenous creatine, but as we supplement with creatine, it provides additional reserves of creatine in our tissues. The recommended dose of creatine monohydrate for all uses is 3 to 5 grams per day. Definitely 5 grams per day if you are muscular, because the more muscle a person has, the more creatine that is degraded each day. While a loading dose of 20 grams per day is sometimes thought of by bodybuilders to achieve results quicker, after a couple weeks there doesn't seem to be any advantages of loading, and also taking more than 5 grams per day can increase the chance of causing digestive complaints. So I personally would stick to the 5 grams per day as a maximum supplementation dose. And probably the most important thing is that in order to get the full benefits of creatine, you should include some resistance exercise. And that combination is likely to increase muscle strength and size in younger adults and prevent the loss of muscle and strength that is often seen as we increase in age. If you decide to try creatine, take note of the results after the first 23 days and make sure that you post your results in the comments section below. Thanks for joining in, and I'll see you in the next video.